I'm totally fine with that.
No girls allowed.
Yeah. What is it? The He-Man Woman Hater Club.
He-Man woman.
It's off the Little Rascals.
That's funny.
Okay. Let's start to kick things off. Welcome to another episode of the Entertaining Stupid Podcast. My name is Buddy Jayson, and my friends today are
Matty B. And Rheal.
Yeah, so we're back at it. Another episode with no video for the YouTube, just because I'll be moving, so I'm starting to pack stuff up and move stuff out of this place in the next couple of weeks here. So we're gonna do audio. On that note, there's not gonna be an episode next week or the week after that.
That's
because yeah, it's just because for some reason I'm in the CPA course. I'm starting it at the end of the month here. There's a stupid 2-day workshop that I have to go to from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. On a Saturday and a Sunday.
That sounds horrendous. Full-time weekend.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you can't move next weekend, because you were supposed to, right? That's when you were planning on it?
Yeah, and that's why I had to reschedule. But so I got to do that next weekend, and we won't be able to record. Stupid thing, it's a Zoom call.
Oh, my God.
So I have to stay on Zoom from 9 to 4.
You get to stay home?
Yeah, I'll be at home.
Yeah, it still blows.
That's kind of nice. It still blows.
That's 7 hours straight of bullshit.
Is it learning?
There's like breakout sessions. You're supposed to do group stuff and
baby, that's the worst.
Yeah,
that's awful.
It's gonna suck. And then
it'll be worth it, I guess, in the end.
Yeah, and then the week after that, I'll be asking you boys to help me move a bunch of stuff, so we won't be recording.
Right.
Okay. That's fine though.
Right.
We'll come back better than ever when Jason's done his CPA stuff. So
it's gonna be official, man.
Yeah.
Legit.
Yeah, and
that wouldn't be for your official, because you still got classes, right?
Yeah, I still got classes. Yeah.
That's what I was talking about.
Official in our hearts.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Thank God there's no video for that.
We've already done one podcast from coming back.
Yes. Yeah, it was me and Christian. We had celebrated last week. We celebrated the new year, the new season, by eating a bunch of noodles.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of ramen and noodles, and we ate them on the podcast. We gave our thoughts, and we just started to chat about what's how the holidays was for us.
Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of holidays, this is an interesting segue. Yeah. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube lately, because obviously I'm addicted to YouTube. Just like pretty much, I'd say pretty much all of North America is anyway. Yeah. But I've been kind of going down this rabbit hole of more like, what's the word for bartending and for cooking and cuisine? I guess it's artistic, but couldn't it be? What's another word for it?
The culinary arts.
Yeah, that's it. The culinary arts. It's more fancy.
Okay.
So I've been watching this guy he makes maybe 4-minute YouTube videos about how he just makes drinks and stuff like that. But then he had a bartending course that he gave for free on YouTube, and it was 13 parts, and he uploaded all in one day, and each episode was 20 minminutes long. I was like, holy crap, it was really impressive. And I think he'd been a bartender for 20 plus years. But he was kind of going through the liquors. So there's only 6 types of liquors. So gin, vodka, whiskey,
rum.
Rum. I think brandy's one, and then there's another one.
Liqueur?
No. Liqueurs are separate. Oh. So there's 6 of them. But I thought it was just really cool and interesting.
There's only 6 liquors?
Yeah, they're classified
everything else is all derivative.
Yeah.
So bourbon is a whiskey.
Is a whiskey. Yeah.
Scotch is a whiskey.
Oh.
Yeah. Rye is a whiskey.
Yo.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah. So there was another one, I just can't think of them. But yeah, so he was going through liquor and liqueurs, and the difference is liqueurs have sugar content in them, or liquor is just straight, what it is. So I was like, oh, that's really fucking cool. And like, it was just like 20 minutes of explaining each. He'd go through each like liquor too, and be like, oh, these are like the most common drinks for that, like for this kind of liquor. Okay. And then he'd go down that branch, like Jason was saying, where it's like whiskey. Well, there's bourbon, there's Irish whiskey, there's Scotch and all that. And like, so every tree would be going down in different types. And then when he said with rum, like obviously the different kinds of rum, there's spiced rum, there's white rum, and like how those palettes work with everything.
Okay,
it was really interesting. I was like, holy shit, it was just fascinating.
There's a lot more to liquor than I think of.
Yeah, well, that's what I was like. That I never knew that there was only 6 liquors.
No,
Ray's just out there to get plastered.
Well, I'm just a vodkas only, so I mean, I'm so niche.
I'll Google it while we're waiting because I want to find the last one that's bothering
me. With the different vodka or different liqueurs. Oh my god, isn't it like so vodka's potatoes, or can it be different things?
It can be different types of like there's different types of vodka,
and then like rum is always made from the same thing, or it can be made from different.
Isn't rum only like technically made in the Caribbean? And that's what's considered.
Why are you
rum?
just staring at me, Jason? I know I'm an idiot, but help me.
No, I'm not chiming in because I don't know fuck about this. I drink it. I don't make it.
Okay.
Okay, so it's gin, whiskey, vodka, rum, tequila, and brandy.
Tequila.
And those are considered like the 6 types of liquors. And then tequila, like there's certain, like obviously it's all regional, right? Like a lot of this is all regional. So like tequila can only technically be made out of I think 5 provinces in I think Mexico.
Oh my god!
And that's what's considered tequila.
Like real tequila.
Like that's real. They can only be called tequila. If it's like made somewhere else, it doesn't actually count as tequila because they own the rights to the name tequila, and they can sue you for it.
Right.
Just like bourbon is technically only made in Kentucky.
Oh my god.
Because they're made out of a specific barrel and all that stuff.
Yeah. And then what is it? Champagne is
I heard the champagne one.
And bourbon, you need like that's one where you're talking about like different like what it's made out of. Like I think you need 51% corn in bourbon, plus it has to be aged a minimum of 4 years, and in Kentucky for it to be considered bourbon.
That's insane. So Kentucky would just be a shit ton of breweries.
Yeah, and then and then Irish whiskey like that they have the rights to Irish whiskey and Scotch. Like Scotch is just made in Scotland. It doesn't count on a certain barrel for a certain age. Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, wait, so I'll just go with the tequila. So if you made tequila somewhere else, you can't call it tequila. What can you call it to make people think like, oh, this is a tequila?
Well, because you know what's
fuck
funny?
You juice.
Actually,
like tequila-esque?
I went to there was like beer wars this year.
Oh yeah.
And there was actually a place from Moose Jaw where they're making all these different types of liquor.
Huh.
But you can't call it other things, right? So they were like calling it like Moose Jaw Moonshine or whatever, but it's like tequila.
Okay, so that's the problem though, is when you're trying to market it, you're like, it's a moonshine. And so everyone's like, oh, it's a moonshine.
You just can't use the word tequila. That's the problem, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's so hard to market.
But it's cool though, like I didn't know those things, right? Like and I think rum is specific to the Caribbean, I believe.
You can call tequila Mexican firewater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Shit, what was I thinking? So but that's just like a PR brand name kind of. So it's I think you gotta consider it like wine, right? Like it's region based. Right.
Like everything's just a region, right? So like tequila is a region of 5 provinces in Mexico, and they own the rights to the brand tequila.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the way you gotta look at it, I think.
That is so strange.
Vodka is like all over the fucking place. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, then I started thinking because you're saying tequila's in like Mexico.
Yeah.
Rum's in the.
I could be wrong about the rum.
Stuff
one.
is in
I could
the
be. I could be. I don't want to speak out of turn.
A lot of this is like North America, Americas.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the fuck was the rest of the world doing?
Well,
only vodka? Just potatoes?
Vodka would have been and then I believe there was another one like gin or something. I think that's an English drink.
I could see that. It's pretty.
But it was actually what he was saying. He was saying some kind of story about one of the liquors and how the Dutch actually had this like off-brand of gin, and when they were fighting the war, they took the gin from them and they made it for themselves, and then that's how they created the word gin. And I believe that's from England. Is
So
gin.
yeah.
Because I think that's their national drink.
Okay, so it's a naming thing. So other places could have had something that's very similar. They just called it whatever. And
Yeah.
now it's... Oh, okay, so maybe if you went to, like, say, I don't know, Thailand or something, and they have a thing that's pretty much tequila, but they call it whatever, and everyone's... When you're like, oh, this is a type of baklava drink, and everyone's like, oh, it's a
Yeah.
baklava, and you're like, oh, it's a tequila.
Yeah.
But it's just known as different. Fucking that trips me out.
I just think it's cool and fascinating. Because I
Yeah.
was like, holy shit, like you don't
kinda-
actually know the history of it, right?
I kind of hate the region lock of it.
Well,
it's
yeah,
like-
but I mean, like, that's just different, I guess. Like,
No, but it's like
I get it, though.
You make this bitchin' ass bourbon, and they're like, oh, you
Yeah.
can't call it a bourbon. It's not in Kentucky. Like, fuck you, man. Like, get.
I guess so. But I mean, I don't think the thing is they didn't have a name for it though before. Like that's just the generic name of the alcohol.
But now it's a generic name, but they've licensed it.
Yeah, but that's just like beer. Like they licensed Pilsner. They licensed
Yeah,
Coors
but that's
Light.
Pilsner. But like, if you
Yeah.
tried to license beer, is the problem.
I don't think you
can
can.
only no, you can't because it's a generic term.
Yeah.
So like, rum and gin should be a generic term to me because it's just so commonplace. So like,
Well,
tequila,
I think rum is fine.
I think rum's fine. But okay, tequila. Where
I don't
you're-
even
it's
think-
like region locked. You're like, no, tequila's a generic term, man. It's fucking. Although I guess it's kind of like Band-Aids.
Yeah,
just
and then you
became
get into
the
the products like Band-Aids, Kleenex,
Google
Google
it.
Yeah, but like where
Dumpster.
most of those
Is
places
Dumpster a brand?
Dumpster's a brand.
Oh shit.
you got to think about it though too. Most of these regions, man, they have specific things in their region that most of the other world doesn't have for resources to make those things either.
Right.
So like,
As
I
in,
mean, you can
tequila-
make your tequila, but like, it probably won't taste fair.
tequila's like it's made from agave or something like that.
Yeah, it is, and that's like pretty much
Oh.
generic, like all in Mexico.
Right. So the reason it's so
Yeah.
popular in a spot is because they have the thing to make
Yeah.
it. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, potatoes are everywhere, so vodka's universal.
Yeah. Well, and there's so many freaking brands of vodka, right? Like, and you can use corn vodka. That's what Tito's is, right? I think that's a corn vodka.
Oh, yeah. So
Yes.
okay, so that's
Yeah.
what. Yeah, that was the other thing
Yeah.
was.
And I think there's rice vodka and all that.
So I'd assume tequila is always made from the same thing. I would assume.
Yeah.
But like vodkas, you can do different types.
Yep.
I was wondering if like rum and whiskeys, you could do different.
Well, yeah, like bourbon is just
Yeah.
specific to Kentucky, but I mean, there's so many different types of whiskey and how they're made.
Yeah. Because it's not always.
There's
the
clear
same.
whiskeys too that people just don't see, and it's all. My understanding is it's all based on the coloring is from the barrel. It all
Oh.
comes from the barrel and how long
Yeah.
you ferment it.
Yeah,
So-
Japanese whiskey is a lot lighter in color
Yeah.
than
Like
everything else.
he was saying that there's steel barrels where they just keep their clear color. Like
Ah.
it doesn't matter, right? So
So if I do it in a carbon fiber barrel.
and then certain alcohols only need certain ages, right? Like so I don't want to go to place, but let's just say gin was like 90 days.
Right.
So you only need 90 days for it to become gin. Where like whiskey was like 4 years or something.
Yeah, that's the other part that's crazy, where it's like you have so much inventory that's just chilling in barrels for years.
Well, yeah. And then I actually went going down the loophole with more alcohol. It went to wine, and this guy was like part of this
wine
huge
is
network, and he tested 5 different bottles of the same brand of wine, and they were all aged like 5 or 10 years apart. So it was like 2020.
Yeah.
So it was like maybe a year old. Then it went to 2015. Then from there to 2010, and then went to like 1995, and then it went to like 1985.
Holy shit.
And you can buy these, and he's like, oh yeah, this is what the price is for this bottle and this and that, right? And I think it was like the fourth last one, which was like the fourth oldest, or the second oldest, sorry. The cork was faulty. So like when you can tell if the cork is faulty by the amount of, like, if you see the cork on the bottom and it's got some wine on it,
Yeah.
then you're like, oh fuck, it's probably not going to taste very well.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, it's fucked.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, that's like he's like, that's a $10,000 bottle of wine.
Oh.
But like that's what happens.
Fuck.
He's like, yeah, you got to know like what you're buying.
But you would see that if you're trying to buy, if you were buying it in person, right?
Yeah, well,
So you'd be like, I'm not paying 10 grand for
you
that shit.
can't though, because you know what? It has that seal around it.
Oh no!
Yeah,
so you
so
can't even
like
see
he
it.
cracked the seal and he's like, oh no, and then he uncorked it. He's like, yeah, and then he tried. He's like, yeah, it just doesn't taste
Did
good.
you legit pay like stupid amount
Well,
of
no,
money?
I think it's just because he's part of a winery, like in a collection, and they're like, yeah, just do this for like the video. But
Dude.
but then the other cool thing is like the evaporation, because wine slowly evaporates, and the cork, if you have less air, the cork is supposed to maintain no air really going through, or like hold the amount of air that can go through. But Yeah, like it was like from 2020, it was like bright all the way full to the top, and then it was like 1985, and it was significantly down like the neck.
Noticeably
you
less.
can see it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty cool.
Yeah, evaporation or whatever.
Yeah, and he's like, this is what you're actually tasting with the wines, and he's like, oh, yeah, this is gonna taste like fruity, and like the newest one, and he's like, yeah, this one you're just trying to get all these different flavors from at the end, like where it's made from and all that, and he could tell everything by like where it was made, and
That's
it was
amazing.
impressive, man.
Dude, wine people are fucking. They're good.
Yeah, to
They're
be a
freaks.
sommelier.
That's
Is
what
that-
he is. He's a sommelier.
Sommelier.
Sorry,
That's the name
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
It's like oh no, I think it was on a previous podcast. Christian said he was doing like a sommelier course for cideries.
Yeah, I think you
Yeah.
mentioned that.
Yeah, and he's tasting stuff, and people are just
Wasn't he just
listing off
making shit up as he was going?
something like that. It's like, yeah, no, I got fruity pebbles there.
I taste some bourbon. This is cider.
Sir. I don't understand that. To be able to distinguish flavors on your tongue, like I don't get that.
Oh, it's crazy. But I think
I
you're so used to it. I think at some point, like you just have so many tastes and you practice so much tasting and like how to
I guess
explain it.
so.
You know, because that's their job.
Yeah.
Like
And you're
there's
really focused on it.
there's this other like food show I watch on YouTube, and it's hilarious. Like this guy just travels the world on YouTube, and he's got a team. He's from the States, but he lives in Vietnam. And he was on this other barbecue show, like Guga Foods. Anyway, sorry, it's just a funny thing because I know like Ben listens to this podcast and he loves Guga, but he just is he's like from I think Venezuela or Brazil, and he just like barbecues. It's hilarious. But anyway,
It's funny. The last episode, Christian's like, dude, Matt's really into watching this one guy. Just be aware the next couple of podcasts he's on this. He's going to be
yeah,
talking
because
about
that's probably the one. But anyway, the best food ever review show or whatever.
So
That's
does
like
it go around travel?
yeah, this guy goes like all around the world and travels. But like obviously with COVID, he's had some problems.
Right.
But anyway, he met up with this Guga Foods guy, and Guga dry aged steak in ketchup.
Ooh.
And then he just had like a normal dry age.
Yeah.
And they put it on the queue, and then they kind of blind taste tested him.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I taste some MSG, and then and then like he's like, no, not MSG, and then the other guy's like, I taste some vinegar, and like because there's vinegar in ketchup, right?
Okay.
But turns out tomato over time actually can convert to MSG. So he was actually right about the MSG the
Oh,
whole time.
shit.
I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck MSG tastes like, man.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
like, holy shit.
that was a big thing years ago where they all of a sudden every restaurant was like, no MSG, no MSG.
Yeah.
That was such a big deal. And then I think they realized it was.
again, Christian and I spoke about this last week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
man.
What is it exactly? Is it like
Monosodium sodium glutamate.
Oh, I was gonna say some
a
sort of
fat?
sodium, right?
Huh?
Is it sodium, fat?
It's not a fat. It's like when my dad was using it in the kitchens there, it kind of looked like salt.
I was just gonna say salt. That was my guess, but
I just know it was, the devil back in the day. And I think they realized that,
Well, again,
it's actually
Chris-
not as bad
Again,
as...
Christian stated in the last podcast that all the hysteria was drummed up by two scientists sitting there going, wonder what we can do if we just sort of, or what we can do to freak people out.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
that's incredible.
People are jerks. Fucking... Think of all the MSG we could have been eating.
Let's be honest though, Rail. Me and you listen to if we listen to Joe Rogan and he says something and he like pulls it up and it's like, yeah, this one website says it. And you're like, oh yeah, that's right.
I'd believe it.
Yeah, that's exactly what probably happened.
Until someone tells me otherwise, I'll
yeah,
believe it.
yeah, you just fall for it. Like, oh yeah, that's gotta be accurate. It was on Joe Rogan.
Turns out there's actually 10 different liquors. I'm just 100% with Matt on this one.
That's just what the video said. So, but anyway,
There's
yeah.
6. I guess that's the thing. It's like every region definitely has different culinary, and then I'm thinking Canada, nah.
Yeah, we kind of like
We're
just
we have-
taking everyone else's
Yeah,
cuisine.
it's the melting pot of everyone else, but we don't have originals. Really,
What would I guess poutine would be the only thing I could think of, like for
literally the only
definitely
thing.
Canadian thing,
No.
and maybe elephant ears, and that's pretty much it. Or like beaver
No,
tails.
not elephant ears. It's
beaver tails. Sorry, beaver tails. Yeah, beaver tails.
They're called elephant ears.
Beaver tails are lit.
I mean, we put craft dinner on the map, but that's
Is
probably
that-
not a
Is that
region
Canadian?
No, I don't think so.
No,
but-
there is a U.S. Craft dinner. It's not the same as Canadian craft dinner.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
But it's craft
They,
dinner,
they,
though,
tr-
isn't it?
yeah, Kraft tried to change the recipe to be the same one as the one down in the States, and we here in Canada we're
you-
just up in arms about it.
You can't change things halfway through. People get used to something and then stick with it.
Yeah, I think they changed the recipe down in the States to be more, they make more profitable or whatever.
Makes sense.
Oh.
I
No,
guess
I've heard-
it's easier if you switch it that way. Yeah.
I'd heard someone back in the day, and I think they said Canadians. Fuck, I don't know what it was, but say they like it salt more than the States, or there was something where it's like your
Yeah.
recipes have to be.
Also,
a bit
the
whatever.
noodles are different too.
Really?
Yeah, because the down in the States, Kraft Dinner is actual elbow macaroni, and then up here it's the longer,
Yeah.
straighter kind of macaroni.
Right. Huh. Well, I mean, we're probably their biggest market, so fuck everybody else.
Yeah.
We live on that shit.
Yeah.
Also, different noodle types, man. There's so many. They're like, this recipe needs to be a pastinato noodle. The
Well, that's what I'm
fuck?
like. What we don't actually have any cuisine. Like, what?
No.
I can't think of anything besides poutine.
It's literally just other people's shit.
yeah.
And then maple anything.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess maple. Yeah. Flapjacks.
You do like a. What do you think a maple steak would be?
I would not eat it.
It probably would be terrible. Would you?
You can do a maple glazed steak, yeah?
Okay, so it's just a glaze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound bad.
You know what would be better if you dry aged it? I bet.
You're all about the dry age right now.
Well, no, like you can literally put anything on like a steak and then like wrap it up and then wait 35 days and just cut it out and you'll get the flavor in there, but it won't be like the weird gooey texture on your steak. That's the whole point.
Is that
like,
what's throwing you off? Is the goo?
yeah, like
You don't want a sticky steak?
Also, man, like maple is meant for like sweet things, like so like pancakes and waffles make a lot of sense for me.
But
with
then
maple,
chicken and waffles happened.
I'm not a big fan of chicken and waffles.
I don't think I've tried it, but people rave. So
Well,
Yeah.
the thing with chicken and waffles, if it's done correctly, there's no maple involved at all.
Oh.
It's a waffle with fried chicken on top, and then you pour the white gravy over that.
But this was the one thing I'll say, but to defend the chicken and waffles. If they
defend
had,
the chicken.
no, if they have the maple syrup on it, at least there's crisp on the chicken. So like it's crispy chicken, so you can kind of like okay, there's a crunch factor to it, kind of like
Okay, so we need texture.
there's
Faye.
breading, there's
Okay,
breading on it.
So
right?
breaded steak.
Okay, maybe I would try that. It would be weird though, don't you think?
Of course, it'd be terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So dry age is when you wrap it.
So what happens is you just put like some kind of coating on it, and then you
Okay.
vacuum seal it,
Okay.
and then you let it like age, like for
Over
like
time.
30, over time for like
Okay.
usually it's like 35 days.
But it doesn't like you don't put it. Do you put it directly on the steak?
Oh yeah, you
and
put
then it kind of
everything.
like it like seeps into
It seeps into the steak, and then what you do is you like it essentially starts to mold, right? But then what you do is you just cut the outer part, all the mold off, and then you have like still a fillet of steak
Oh.
with like, and then the meat. You know how it's like bright red when you buy it from like the supermarket.
Yeah.
It'd become darker, but then it like absorbs
Wait, how
the
does
flavor.
how does it mold if if it's vacuum sealed?
Because there's a tiny bit of air, I believe
You
that's
can't
still
always get rid of.
Still, because you put it in the fridge too.
Because
right?
I know like people dry age stuff like steaks and stuff like that like in an open like cool cellar or
Yeah.
like in a refrigerator and stuff like that.
Sorry, like it's some kind of seal, like because that's just the one I'm watching on, like a homemade one where he like seals it up, and it's not. I don't know if it's vacuum sealed, but it's
Well,
like,
even if you
sealed.
do vacuum sealed, I doubt you get all the air out. You're not getting every molecule.
I don't know.
That's just my assumption. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Anyway,
It just seems hard to
He
get
seals
rid
it
of
up, and then like that's how he does it. But yeah, you can keep it in like in those open coolers, but
Right.
it's still got to be chilled, right? So,
Right. So I was just wondering. Okay, that's how you do dry age.
Yeah.
So I could do a dry age Skittle steak.
Well,
Yes.
you'd have to melt the Skittles, I think. Yeah.
I'm willing to go the mile.
Yeah.
We can do some again some Fruit Loops.
Man, you
Fruity
can
Pebbles.
we can make some
I'm
fucked up
95%
steak.
sure you can dry age a lot of shit. Like I don't
Okay,
even.
we need a
think
dry
this-
age cellar.
This sounds like something we should record.
I want to
Yeah.
experiment. We need a cellar. This sounds terrible.
Well, let's just get a vacuum seal and let's do it.
Oh yeah. Okay, we can do that.
That's cheaper.
Is it
some,
hard to cut off the moldy parts, or is it just
No.
like whatever?
No, you got to make sure you don't fuck it up though. When like you got to make sure you
Yeah.
cut it all off.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
So you'd want a really thick cut then. If
Yeah,
you're
you want a
trimming
thick cut,
around
and
it.
then you're trimming around it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a ribeye or something.
Yo, I want to fuck around with this. This sounds hilarious.
Let's do it.
That
Melting Skittles and
sounds terrible, but great.
Okay,
What-
you come up with one. I come up with one. We'll get everybody to get
'Cause-
one. We'll
Okay, I
test
kind
it
of want to
out.
do a
the ones
syrup.
I've seen. Like he's done peanut butter. He's done ketchup.
What?
I think he did marshmallow, like those fluff marshmallow.
Yeah?
Like he's tried everything. It's pretty cool.
on meats.
On steak, yeah, like
Dude,
the
peanut
dry age.
butter?
Yeah,
This is right up my alley. Holy
I think
fuck.
peanut butter could pull it. You could probably pull that one.
It sounds terrible, but I'm sure it's good.
Well, like if you have the nutty flavor in the beef, it might not be bad.
Huh. That's a strange combination.
I think we're getting way too much in food and liquor right now, though.
I want to keep going with it because it sounds hilarious. What flavor would you do, Jason, for your dry age?
If we're dry aging steak,
Yeah,
I
and
want to
whatever.
try
Like, no-
whatever I
No
want.
holds barred. No matter how stupid.
Man, like, wouldn't it be dope if it was like fucking like hot sauce, like fucking ballin' sriracha or something like that, and you just put sriracha on
A
it?
hot steak.
Yeah.
Has that ever been done before?
Oh, I'm
in
sure
the
it
history
has.
of mankind?
Trust me, I don't think it's originated here on the Entertaining Stupid podcast. I can tell you that.
No one's ever thought.
Yeah.
No, I've never thought of a hot steak or spicy
You think
steak.
like soy and wasabi would be dope?
Well,
That's a different
that's just,
type of-
That's just normal. Like I use soy sauce in my wet marinades.
Oh, fair
Yeah, that's normal. That's
I
not
use-
like a spicy though. That's
I
just
use,
a kick.
no, I know. I mean with wasabi.
I want to try a spicy steak now. Does that sound terrible or not?
For you, yeah. I mean, like we can soak a steak in Tabasco sauce and it'd probably kill you.
Tabasco's not that spicy.
Tabasco's lit.
I'm thinking like hot, spicy.
Oh,
We can
I am
do-
not putting it into bomb. Fuck you guys.
Not the bomb,
Yeah.
but like I mean, at least 100,000.
What about like pineapple juice? That'd be a good one.
Whoa, that would be strong.
Yeah.
You'd have to be
Ooh.
careful with that because I know
The
pineapple
acidity?
juice breaks down proteins.
Oh,
So what? Sorry,
you
it,
can-
so we could have a protein-free steak.
it'd probably be like a marinade anyway. I don't think you could probably.
No, you can
probably
marinate
catch
it.
on Yeah.
If you let it sit, you probably might have like a liquid steak by the end of it.
Oh, dear God. Some chef is like these.
That'd be cool if
fucking
marinated
retards.
though with pineapple. I think that'd be interesting.
Oh yeah, that sounds.
Yeah,
Man, that sounds interesting.
with like pineapple or and paprika or something like that.
Okay.
Isn't that like where mangoes and paprika is pretty popular like snack?
I have no clue.
Oh, I think it's in like India where they like cut mangoes and they put some paprika on it or something like that.
Nice.
Looks cool.
Um,
Or chile powder. Sorry, I think it's chile powder.
cinnamon steak. Fucking pumpkin
Cinnamon.
spice steak.
I would try that. I'd
Starbucks
rather try
is
that.
in?
I would rather try that.
That sounds bad. Or does it? I don't know anymore.
All right, I will
Yeah,
I will
let's
jot
change
this
topic,
down
yeah.
and we will do this at
Probably
some
change
point.
topic. We're going on sweaty dry. Just
I'm getting hungry now.
sneaker dry age? I don't know, man.
Sneaker?
I'm just making shit up.
Now, what was it? Like you were talking, when you buy old ass bottles of alcohol, it's really a gamble on what you get. It brought it to mind. What is it? That one dude spent, I think, like $25 million to buy a original box of Pokemon cards,
Oh,
25 million?
something like that.
Are
Yeah.
you
Are you talking about
serious?
Logan Paul when he
Yeah.
bought? Oh, he bought one for 3.5.
Oh, 3.5. Sorry.
Yeah, but still, yeah, and they got
an original
scammed.
box.
Yeah.
Like a first edition sealed box, like of base set, first edition.
But it's what an idiot.
3. Yeah. Turns
Well,
out.
no, dude, like actually, like you can call him an idiot, but the cards are insanely valuable
I guess, but what?
because there's no first edition cards
I
anywhere.
know,
You
they're
can't
all
get them anywhere. It's
destroyed.
impossible.
And it's all a publicity stunt for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can that like he acts like that's a lot of money to
Don't
them.
you think
It's
that
not.
they're kind of like an NFT though, in the sense like you see all these people like buying the Pokemon cards so the demand goes up, and then it's like, oh yeah, like oh my god, vintage. It's like there's no way all these guys can afford
It's-
these base sets.
It's like Beanie Babies. It's different in the sense that NFTs are not physical goods.
Yeah.
These are actual physical goods.
yeah.
But you know, it's just what it is. And
And then it's also the luck of the draw, because like it's all like they're like, oh man, this card's actually like if it's PSA 10 is worth like 150,000, but no one gets PSA 10s, so it's like it really diminishes. But you're like, oh, I'm gonna spend all that money and hopefully get the PSA 10. But
Yeah,
you're like,
so
you're
he spent
it's a gamble.
$3.5 million on this, and he got it graded by some baseball card company, and everyone around the world's like, why are you getting these guys to do?
Was it a bad company?
No, because they're not a bad company. They're
legit,
They're
yeah.
legit. They grade baseball cards. They're a great company.
They grade
to do
cards
that.
in general, I think, too, don't they?
No,
It's
it's
in
primarily
Chicago?
it's primarily baseball cards.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Okay,
that part.
I don't think they've ever actually done like Pokemon cards and stuff like that.
Okay.
But
So it's
like,
why did you go to
But
that?
yeah.
hey, they're legit either way, because like if you're grading baseball
they
cards, it's
said
all the
yes,
same thing.
this is
yeah.
100% genuine.
yeah.
So they crack it open, and it's all GI Joe cards inside.
Yeah, he got scammed. So
For 3.5 mil?
just to add on to what he's saying, because I read it on IGN, I believe that's where I read it. So he bought it from a guy for 3.5 million. Oh, no, sorry, he sold it
No, he bought it from a guy.
for 2.8 million. I thought. No, the guy bought it for 2.8 million, sold to Logan Paul for 3.5 million. So he
Yeah.
had $700,000 profit.
And then
The guy was with him because he's like, I got it already, like checked. I got it like approved. Like
Okay,
it's
so-
vintage.
so who-
So the guy who sold it to him was like,
He thinks it's legit.
he thought it was legit because he got it like graded, and they're like, yeah, this is legit, like first edition base set.
And
Like
what I will also say is the funny thing is that I think that listing for that set of cards
Yeah.
has been around for a couple of like years now, and nobody was willing to touch it. I think it was originally set up. It was originally sold for like $125,000, and people were gawking at that like, no, it's those are fake cards. You wasted your
everyone
money.
already
it
knew.
literally
Yeah.
turned into an NFT.
And then
It's like,
that
this is
guy
worth so much money.
that guy who bought it for $125,000 turned it and sold it for more, and then it just
kept going. And then this
going.
guy who bought it and sold to Logan Paul is like a huge collector of things, right? So he wasn't trying to scam him.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and he was there with him, so he's embarrassed as fuck
Oh,
because
yeah.
he sold this guy 3.5. He's like, I'm gonna try to figure this out. But yeah,
And it was just hilarious because everyone on the internet and through like eBay and stuff like that are like, they've been going off about, no, this is not worth it. These are all fake cards. These are all fake
How did
cards.
everyone else know?
well,
Turns
that's
out
the
it's
other
fake
thing,
cards.
man. You're taking a risk, man. When you go on eBay, dude, with shit like that, like you cannot buy that. But you know, the other thing is you have to go through a legit auction to buy that shit. Like you have to go through an
You
auction.
have for big numbers like that.
But I don't think he went through eBay to get it. Like this is all selling, like private sales, I believe, is
Yeah.
what happened.
Like I understand the whole idea of selling as is, where it's like you take responsibility as the buyer. But when it's numbers that big, it's like if it's a legit scam, you should have ways to go.
This is
after
the weight,
them.
man. Like they
that's-
do it too, right? Like they weigh the box because it should be a certain weight. It's got to be, and everything passed like for what they
So it
thought.
passed
And then
all
and
measures.
they're like, yeah, man. Like even that grading company is like, it's legit. And then he opens it up and it's full of bullshit cards.
Right. But I just feel like at some point you have to be like, we can trace it back to the person who first started and was like, you
Oh, good-
intentionally
good.
scammed
No,
people.
yeah.
Good luck with that, though.
I know. If you could have gotten it back to like it's only.
Well, that's
2
kudos
steps
to those guys that made it look so legit for so long.
Fuck,
Like
apparently.
they rewrapped
Jesus.
it. They made the box. It was obviously the box was mint condition. I think
Dude,
those
that box-
fucking booster boxes, man, are still worth like $100,000.
I was gonna say
something.
the box alone is probably
Yeah.
worth fucking money.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Okay, but those are a thing where it's only valuable because people are placing value in it. So
Like
say-
Beanie Babies.
Like
Yeah.
Beanie Babies. So say in 40 years, all these collectors who have these Pokemon cards and they're like, oh, it's going to go up in value, go up
Yeah, I
in
don't think
value.
it will anymore.
If at some point everyone starts forgetting about Pokemon, not that
Yeah.
that's going to happen, but if it did, and the next generation doesn't give a fuck, all of a sudden prices plummet.
Well, think about it this way: who's buying up all the Pokemon cards right now? People that are in their early 30s, mid 20s, because it's
Yeah.
nostalgia, and they're all fucking rich YouTubers who made a shit ton of money, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna buy this." Like,
What's some of that candy?
you know what I mean? Like, that's
Yeah.
what it is.
So
Like,
they're-
it's all nostalgia. Like, because if you have so much money, you're like, "Yeah, let's go nostalgia
Yeah,
base."
yeah. If you have millions of dollars,
Like his,
what, 30,
and the other thing, I'm gonna have one candy as well.
Absolutely.
Sorry. The other thing I'm gonna say is that he's had like 2 openings where he sells the packs to people so they can buy a pack for a certain amount of dollars. So I think it was like because you get like 36 packs, I think, right in a booster box.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so you sell one pack for like 12 grand. He kind of made his money back when he bought the box, right?
Okay.
But he do a live stream on it, so then he's got 100,000 people watching him, so he's making a shit ton of money off that.
Mm-hmm.
And then what would happen is, you know, he'd open it up, and he's done it 4 times where it's legit first edition packs, right? And legit first edition like cards
Okay.
that get PSA'd and everything, and they come back legit. So like, this is the one time I think he was gonna buy it for himself, and he got fucked over.
Now, even within that range of like first gen cards, certain cards would be worth more than others.
Yep.
Like I'm
Yep.
guessing your Charizards are top of the line or something.
Dude, even starters. Like
Starters
if a
would be big.
Charmander PSA
Pikachu
10 is
would
like
probably be
30
huge.
grand.
Yeah.
A Charmander.
I believe it. Starters would be huge.
Pikachu,
would
yeah.
be huge. Was Eevee? Yeah, Eevee's an original.
Yep.
She's on.
I would think
It's
that'd
on
be-
the original
Well-
booster box, so
Oh, okay.
that's a jungle set.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, something about Pokemon is just nuts.
Well, I mean, it's such a long running fucking franchise. And it's so popular.
I bought one on eBay, like, because I was down that nostalgia vibe in like 2012. So I bought a Charizard and a Zapdos. I think my Zapdos is a second edition. It's probably like a PSA 5 if you're lucky. And then I got a Charizard. It was like from one of those like legendary sets or whatever. So they like remade the cards.
Oh, yeah.
And I just bought it because I was like, man, like, yeah, you can't find any of those packs anymore. So I bought it, and I even like Googled the PSA 10 or on eBay, and it's worth like fucking like a PSA 10 is worth like 15 grand for like a reissue.
For the reissue.
Wow.
I don't even have anything close to that. But I
That's
was like,
bad.
I'm just keeping it because it was nostalgia. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, well, it's like buying the beat up one where you're like, I don't give a fuck what it looks like. It's,
Yeah.
As long as it's a card.
Yeah.
I guess the lower end of that is when we buy Magic packs. We're like, man, if I can pull a Planeswalker, that pays for my whole draft, baby.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Sell it for $30.
Yeah.
But you think those would be in value in time too, right? The old
I mean,
ones?
what is it? The Black Lotuses are.
How much are those?
Yeah.
I don't think it's as high as Pokemon cards.
No,
though.
no.
It's like
What
the
I
Black
mean,
Lotus might be like,
if you get an alpha set, if you get a full alpha set or whatever for like the Mox Sapphires, Mox Ambers, Mox Rubies and stuff like that, those ones are worth a lot of money.
yeah. But like, I mean, that's fucking old ass shit.
Yeah, that stuff was printed like in the 70s.
Oh my god.
Holy fuck, is that old?
Dude, Magic's been around
Magic's
for
been around
I didn't know it
forever.
was that old. I thought it was like a 90s.
It was one of the first. No, I shouldn't say that. I was gonna say it's one of the first card games, but
It probably is.
No, it's the game that coined TCG.
really,
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I mean, I just knew they're fucking the granddaddies of these whole
That's
genre.
crazy, man.
Yeah.
And it's funny how now it's like Hearthstone started as a digital, and then Magic's working its way towards digital, and they're like, we gotta catch up with the times.
Fuck, that's where like everyone's going down the rabbit hole of NFTs, man. Like, oh, you can imagine if you had this character and it could be in your game, any game. It's like, who fucking cares? Like,
NFTs are such a scam.
yeah,
What was it? The whole crypto fucking
it crashed, didn't it?
yeah. There's a big crash on everything. But also,
Bitcoin fell, I think, 20 grand in the last month.
what was it up to?
It's like $60,000 for a Bitcoin.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
It's down to 40,000. It's still up in the year, but
Yeah.
Mm.
Those things are just fucking taking off like crazy. But yeah, like the whole crypto took a crash, and I think the whole stock market as a whole took a crash.
yep. The I think the Dow is down 5% of the for the month.
fucking, yo. The worst part about NFTs is because it's all these fucking guys that like have Twitter or whatever social media. They post their NFT as their thing, their profile picture, and all they do is the same thing. They go GM for good morning, GN for good night, and they talk about the entire fucking day is NFTs. And like,
It's
oh
just-
man, what do you think Ethereum's going to be today?
It's just
Blah, blah, blah.
one big circle
Yeah,
jerk.
yeah,
It really
like
is.
Bored Ape Yacht Club, like even Jimmy Fallon has that's his fucking profile picture. Like it's just like because they're trying to get all these people on board, right? And like, oh, like this is like blah 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 mutual fund. It's not a mutual fund. It's just a scam.
It's completely not even close.
So
to a
imagine
mutual
someone
fund.
buying Jimmy Fallon's Bored Ape Yacht Club, and you're like, I bought his NFT, and it was Jimmy Fallon's. So then he's gonna have a value of like whatever Jimmy Fallon sold it for. It'd be through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And the other thing is like, hey man, you lose your password, use your backup password. So long, it's gone. Doesn't matter anymore.
Never existed.
Never existed.
Well, there's that one.
That's the guy with the Bitcoin, right? Didn't he have like a wallet too?
There's
Sorry for cutting off. I'm sorry.
there's a crypto group that bought like a very old Dune book.
like
for
Dune?
like
Like the Book of Dune.
Dune, yeah, like
Yeah,
the
the
video,
movie.
yeah,
The
yeah.
movie? No, he's talking about the movie.
It
the
was
book of
originally
it.
book,
Yeah, the book. Yeah.
And they spent like a couple $1 million on it for
What?
this limited edition book or whatever.
Is
And
it
they're
like mint condition?
Yeah, and they're really confused because they think because they own that book, they can go. What they want to do is they want to make an adaptation, movie adaptation of the book. It's like copyright laws don't work that way, buddy.
Haven't you seen the movies?
Just because they thought they bought the book.
They own the rights to it,
Oh my god!
so it's kind of
How did no one explain this to them?
it's kind of like this whole thing is kind of like skewing people's understanding of reality.
Well, that's a whole different problem that currently is people's reality is so different from person to person. It's like, no, that's not how the world works. You're a fucking idiot.
And like if you're spending that kind of money, wouldn't you want to try and make sure you speak to a lawyer about what you want to do with it?
I was gonna say at some point during the whole debacle of buying this thing, was there ever a point when there was a meeting and the guys were like, "Yeah, we're buying this book for millions of dollars, and then we're gonna make a movie," and some guy in the office was like, "Whoa, wait, what? Hang on, One more time. What was that part?
I mean, that will actually be very valuable in the future, but
They're sitting there
If
going,
people are willing to pay it,
someone who's born and rich will pay for it.
they have to be a Doom fan.
Oh, well, yeah, those movies
well,
help.
the thing is, that book has been scanned and is available free online.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's a
But
yeah.
every time that, like, say, like, so there was the Dune movie, I think it was in the 80s, right?
Yep.
And then the one that just came out this year, or in 2021. Every time there's, like, another Dune adaptation or...
Oh, Dune.
Yeah, not Doom.
I've been
Talking
hearing
about
Doom this whole time.
No.
That's why I said the video game.
No, Dune, the movie.
Oh, I was like,
And the book, because it was a book first, right?
that's why when Matt was like, no, the movie, and I'm like, this fucker doesn't even know it was a video game first. What
Yeah.
an idiot.
No, like, Dune. Dune.
Ray's thinking of like Dwayne The Rock Johnson running around
Fuck
shooting
yeah.
Yeah.
demons and
I
stuff.
was like, listen, this guy just wants his rabbit back.
But they'll like they'll circle the well, like, you know, or like whenever the sequel comes out, and then like someone will be like, "Oh man, who's a billionaire or like a millionaire? Oh fuck, I love Dune. I gotta get the original book." And then
Yeah.
that's where they'll make money. Like anytime something comes out like that, it just adds value to something.
yeah, and that's yeah. So
Like
that's
my
just
Last of Us statue, it's worth. It was like I bought it for $300 because it was like
30?
back. No, 300.
Oh,
And this was back in like when it came out. The game came out, the first one in 2011, and it was like like it was super rare. You couldn't get it, kind of thing. But I got it like for like what the value was. Now on eBay, it's worth $3,000. Even
There's
if it's not like
Maddie's retirement plan.
no, well, even if it's not worth like, even if it's not the full like edition, not like sealed, never been opened kind of thing, you can get it for like $2,000. You can still sell it for $2,000 or whatever. But as soon as that Last of Us TV show comes out from HBO, that's just going to add more value.
Oh, yeah.
And then if they do another third game of it, it just adds more value onto it. So like that's how it kind of it works with nostalgia, right? Because they're like, oh man, the first game, like I remember that game, and like, oh, is that statue still around? And then that's how it works. But
I guess the statue's different because, like you said, it's a physical thing. But things like a
and
book
the
or a
book
movie,
though, because it's a special limited
I
edition
know,
book.
but just to me,
That's like comic books, though. They're worth so much money.
yeah. And that's the difference of perspective, where I think I can read this comic online for free. Why the fuck would I spend money, and especially big money, on it? But to collectors,
It's nostalgic, right? It's like almost like
I wonder, is a lot of it nostalgia, or is a lot of it just as an investment?
it can be.
It's
It's both.
nostalgia.
It's a bit of both. Yeah.
It's all inherent value, right? Because I mean, the physical value of a comic book,
It's fucking
just-
pennies.
is the paper and ink that it's printed on. It's
I'm
fine.
reading this, and then you can have it.
Yeah. It's just the inherent value that people put on it.
And also scarcity.
Scarcity, yeah.
Scarcity is a huge part of it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, a lot of those golden age comics haven't survived over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like, I don't know. It's just it's cool.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch from an outside
then-
perspective.
But people like Gary Vee and other people that are huge in the market already with like investments and all stuff, they just say one thing and everyone's like, oh yeah, I should, like, this is a huge investment, that this is going to secure my future. And and then it'll tank.
That's what I'd be so
That's
worried
what
about.
Elon does too. Like Elon's like, oh, Doge to the moon.
Oh, he
and then
fucking
everyone
tweets
fucking,
one
yeah.
thing.
And then he buys a shit ton of fucking Bitcoin. Like,
Yep.
And he sells his Doge at the peak.
Yeah.
Dude, that guy can
Yeah.
move markets.
They're just moving markets,
fucking
man.
nuts. When you're rich enough, you can do that kind of shit.
Well, the other thing is, like, he's so smart because it's like a pre-order for a video game, right? You're paying the company without getting the product yet. But the other thing is, like, for the most part, like, the product for a video game usually comes out on time. Or if it's delayed, it's like, hey, like, give me a heads up.
Yeah.
But here's some kind of extra bonus for blah, blah, blah. Whereas, like, and you don't have to pay the whole portion. You can give, like, a certain amount. Or like Elon before, like on Tesla, they're like, yeah, you have to pay the whole $45,000 or like $80,000 for this Roadster, and everyone's like, yeah, sure, it's a Roadster, sweet. And then Roadster took like 5 years to come out or something like that.
What's it? So people like
So
actually,
he gets free money, tax free,
but
right?
people paid that amount and then had to wait years.
Yeah,
to
they had
get
to wait a
their
couple,
car.
2 or 3 years.
I would
for the
fucking
Roadster.
lose my shit.
Yeah, but then the Cybertruck, right? Like, when have we actually seen the Cybertruck come? Like any
Yeah.
other thing? Like,
Yeah.
they're like, hey man, here's a prototype, but you could put whatever kind of money you want on that one, right?
Okay.
But it's like,
It's so fucking stupid.
it's still free money, right?
Go
'Cause
and buy
tax
any
free
other
money.
electric vehicle right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another big video game
Oh
news.
baby, I'm excited for this part. Been waiting for this
Microsoft
take one more than this last one.
Microsoft spent what, $7 billion?
7D.
7 Ds.
7
7 0.
D.
68 billion.
$68 billion.
Canada's GDP.
That's what they paid to get Bethesda was $7 billion.
Yeah, so
What a deal.
$70 billion to acquire Activision Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
There's some big
Fuck
names
me,
in
man.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Hot damn.
I always think of the big titles of Blizzard, but Activision has
Call of Duty. Tony Hawk.
Oh,
Candy Crush.
Candy Crush is massive. Well, it used to be massive. Is it still? As
Dude,
big?
I read-
I mean,
There was
yeah.
a stat, dude. Like they were saying, like the earnings from Candy Crush in 3 months of 2020, first 3 months of 2021, was $500 million in revenue.
That's a fucking license to print money on that
It's,
one.
it's a mobile game.
World of
Yeah.
Warcraft, StarCraft.
Well, yeah, that's a big
All those-
Blizzard titles.
yeah.
Oh man, if you can actually take those IPs and do something good with it, fuck.
That's why I see it. On the one hand, for like Activision Blizzard, it's great that they have new leadership and not that loser that was like the CEO.
No, he's still around.
Oh no, for another until the merge happens because it's not going to happen until
Make fuck him the boat.
June 2023.
Yeah.
But like that's going to be good and positive for that environment, which I'm excited for because they've gone through a lot of shit and like a lot of hell. And my understanding is because Phil Spencer actually tweeted yesterday, like the CEO of Xbox, that they're probably going to keep Call of Duty on the multi-platform. And because he said he had a conversation with Sony, like Sony fans, don't worry about it. Like we're gonna keep it on, which is really nice. Like he didn't have to do that at all.
No, it's a sign of good faith, though.
Yeah, because
And also,
Warzone,
they're still gonna make bank from it.
well,
but-
Warzone, they were gonna keep that no matter what multi-platform because it's already so multi-platform centric that they would just keep it like that. But like I mean, like the Call of Duty campaigns and the multiplayer for every release, that could have been just Xbox and PC exclusive, right? Like it could.
that could have been a
And
huge
it still might be.
Xbox
Who
seller.
knows, right? Pardon me at the start because I am a fanboy of Sony. Like I am, but that's just because I love their titles and I thought they've made excellent first party titles for a long time. I was like, fuck, man. Like Xbox is just buying companies again because they can't actually make their own good first party games. But at the same time, I think they're thinking way more big picture than they are, about everything with that Game Pass. It is a really fucking good deal where you get so many fucking titles for like a monthly subscription like Netflix.
Okay.
But I think it's like $15 a month.
So that one, so you pay $15 a month.
Yeah.
You get access to this library,
Yeah.
and you can play as much as you want, as many games as you want.
All
Yep.
yeah, everything you want.
Holy
as
fuck,
long
so
as
you
it's
just get-
you
but
can-
as it's
you
like
can-
Netflix as long as it's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Because some games if they're
they go on and
third party studios, they can take them out. Like Bungie had I think Bungie had Destiny 2 on there with the DLCs, like I'm talking DLCs for like 6 months for free on Game Pass, but then they just took it off. Because they have a new DLC coming out and all that stuff.
And they wanted
and
to do
Destiny
sales.
2 already, the base game is free to play.
Yeah. So they pulled that off, and they put Xbox put up Halo.
But yeah, Halo Infinite came out first day, campaign, multiplayer, all on Game Pass for free. For $12 a month, right? Or 15, whatever it is.
Holy shit! Think
Yeah.
of all the lost revenue. Wow.
Well, no, because it's their studio, so they can make the more you have people playing, you're gonna make all that revenue.
Yeah, it's going for a monthly stable amount
Yeah.
versus a one-time huge purchase.
Because this is where they get you.
But like,
You might only play that game once or twice, but you don't cancel it. You're paying them more and more and more year over year.
yeah, but it's the idea of I can pay $15 a month and play 10 different games, which
That's
would have
the way-
cost me $600.
Yeah, that's why you're looking at it. But if you're not using it at all, then they're making a shit ton of money off.
Oh man, I hate when people rely on me forgetting about my subscriptions.
I think it also treats it as like, remember the days when we were little, we'd go down to the
Fucking-
Blockbuster or the
Yeah.
high tech game traders, and we'd rent a video game for like $10 for the week.
That's what it feels like buying a game now, pretty much.
No, buying a game feels like a huge commitment now. Because I'm like,
Sorry, but
$70
It's got to be good.
Yeah, but-
I have to make sure it's a good game.
But even when you were at the movie store, you had it for like 3 or 7 days, and you only got to pick one movie or one game, and
Yeah.
you're like, I'm going with that, so I'm committed to that for that trial.
It's got to be good,
so
man.
that's like buying a game. Like I'm gonna put my
I
money
guess.
on it. Where like Netflix just takes away like. Doesn't matter, man. Whatever the fuck you want, and
Yeah.
then it's like, here's our library. Whatever you want to watch whatever the fuck you want.
Have
You
fun
can be
and-
whatever age, doesn't matter. There's PG-13, there's G, there's whatever, right?
Hardcore
That's just like
porn.
Game Pass. Game Pass is like, hey man, here's all these fucking games. Go play whatever you want.
Which is awesome until you look at the library and you're like, oh god, I can't choose. And
Well,
then you
this is the
leave.
shitty thing, right? Like, it sucks because I love Bethesda games, but I totally like if you buy it, you're not putting it on any other platform but your own. Like I get it. Like
Oh yeah.
it's got to be exclusive, right?
Okay, but PC will count.
Well, that's the thing. You'll be
thank
able to
God.
play it on PC.
I was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to get an Xbox.
I think
to
their
play.
goal is to actually like be like Game Pass could be on anything. Like it could be on PlayStation, it could be on Nintendo. Like I think that's their goal in the end. But like I don't know if they're gonna do that.
I don't think that'll happen. The way we've seen all this movie subscriptions splinter off, I can't see like consoles joining together.
Well, that's the problem though, because if they all do join together, it's essentially one monopoly of one whatever it is.
One company.
Because then they can dictate whatever price point.
Yeah.
And then you're fucked as a consumer.
I could see where it's the exclusive for like 6 months or a year, and then they open it up.
Yeah, see, that would make sense.
That's a lot
too.
better.
But I mean, like, Xbox has the right now to make any of those things Xbox exclusive because they paid $70 billion for it.
We bought it.
Yeah. So, what do you think about it?
Yeah, Jason.
I think it's just them padding their library to try and upsell the game subscriptions.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, they spent $70 billion on it, and they're still going to be third in market cap. They're still going to be behind.
Sony's still higher.
They're still going to be behind.
Insane.
They're going to be
Sony's still
behind Sony.
Yeah.
Sony's only number 2.
Who's number one?
Tencent.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, with League?
Yeah, they own Riot Games. They own a bunch of mobile shit. They own.
God,
They
the
own.
mobile
What's
shit.
I think they own like a majority portion of Epic Games.
What's
the
the
Epic
huge
Games Store.
branch that owns Rockstar?
Fuck.
That's Take-Two.
Take-Two, that's it. Yeah, Take-Two would be a shit ton of money too. Like, holy shit. Like, that'd be crazy.
That's the worst part is I keep thinking of all these like video game titles, and you're like, oh, just all those gacha games and like coin slot machines.
Well, because
Yeah,
it's
that
so
shit's
massive down there.
Oh,
Yeah.
in certain places, it's huge.
Yeah, and then Tencent is they're branching out. They own actual stake in like railroad companies in China.
So do they own like all those pachinko machines then?
No,
That-
not like
That's a
that. But like they are very heavily deep into the infrastructure of China.
Yeah.
They make a shit ton of money.
I mean, that's a good way to put your money.
They've diversified their portfolio so much. I think they own real estate companies, like railway companies, even utilities and stuff like that.
Fucking hell.
But this is what I don't understand because like we're coming to a new age where like I guess we want everything to be, like more, I would say like equal and equality, and everyone's got an opportunity and stuff like that. And I mean they're like talking about it in gaming. I think that's what Xbox wants is like everyone can play anything, right? You don't have to buy a PS5 to play God of War. You don't have to buy a PS5 to play Last of Us. You don't need an Xbox to play Halo because Halo you can play on PC now, kind of thing, right? Sony's starting to make that move. Like God of War just came out on PC,
Yeah.
like on Steam and stuff like that. But this is the thing because like people that have played Call of Duty for 10 plus years, I'm one of those guys. You're like, oh man, like if like that sucks if I have to go get an Xbox for it, but I understand it, And then all those fanboys that have Xbox are like, well, that's it, because we can't play Spider-Man, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, you don't understand, though. They've had these companies in place for, like, 30 years. Like, Sony's owned Sony Santa Monica since... And they invested in that company. Like, they invested in that branch of their company, put resources there to make those games, like, became bangers. They did the same with Naughty Dog. Like, they owned Naughty Dog for 20-something years, right? With Crash Bandicoot and all that. Like... And then they were like, hey, man, we don't have to stick with Crash. Go to do Jack and Daxter. From there, they went, okay, let's do Uncharted. And from Uncharted, they went to Last of Us. Like, it's all these things where, like, I feel like Sony's really played the long game. And they've really invested in their studios because they own the studios, right?
Right.
Where, like, Xbox doesn't have those... They just don't have that, I don't know, those teams, I guess, because they're so young in the game when you think about it. Where, but they do have the resource of money where they go and they buy a Bethesda. And that's fine. Like, it's part of the game. I get it. But, like, that's where it's like, man, you can't really bitch about a company like Sony for wanting exclusives because, like, they've worked at keeping those for a very long time and they invest so much money and resources into those games. And they own those companies. Like, they're just under that branch of the company. Like, they own those studios. Like, I don't understand the problem here. Like, and Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man. Like, Sony, like, in general, the whole company, not just Sony PlayStation part of Sony, the whole fucking company owns the rights to Spider-Man. So, like, what are you bitching about, Microsoft? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
No company would ever willingly get rid of value.
no, exactly.
So they have to see it as either
You think Sony's ever gonna let Spider-Man go?
no.
Fucking no way. No way. They're smart and they partnered with Disney because they're like, okay, like you know.
Well, the Marvel movies were kicking it.
Yeah, and Marvel, but Marvel sold that to Sony, like the rights to Spider-Man to Sony. Like they sold the X-Men to Fox, right? Like that's why. That's pretty much the only reason I think that Disney bought Fox was literally to buy the rights to X-Men and to the Fantastic Four, right? I think Fox had Fantastic Four. Yeah, but that's how
crazy.
Because let's be honest, man, Disney's like the biggest monopoly there is in filmmaking.
They're
They really are, man. They own like Marvel, they own Star Wars, they own like all these major.
Well, fuck those Marvel movies. Just
They
make
own Pixar.
stupid
You know what I
money.
mean? Like they own all those companies.
Yeah.
That's what Xbox I think will become is like the Disney,
Okay, yeah, just throwing the money around.
and it's fine. But it's just
Well-
like don't bitch like that Xbox because I feel like PlayStation. Why I'm such a fan is because they've had those games for so long and they're just constantly putting out good quality games, which is hard to come by now.
Yeah.
In a first person set, like a first party setting.
I just see it as so they're talking about equality and the cross-play and cross-platform and everyone should have access to all the games. At
Yeah.
that point, it's like, man, if you're all so fucking orgy pit here,
Yeah.
you might as well just Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft all get together and just release one console together. But
Yeah.
that's never gonna.
That's not
happen.
gonna happen.
So
No,
then
that's
if they're all releasing different consoles, then there's no fucking point in being a
Well,
big orgy.
it also depends on where they find value. Nintendo is always all about the portable game.
yeah.
Portable and
It's
family.
smart. Yeah.
They're the family game.
Yeah, and also, Nintendo asked Sony to go make them a disc reader for their old.
That's old history, Jason. We won't talk about that.
Well, this is the other thing too. Like,
Why did?
what were
They didn't. So
It was
Nintendo wanted.
backed out, didn't they?
Yeah, Nintendo tasked Sony to build a disc drive for their, I think their SNES
Oh my
system.
god. Wow.
And then they didn't like what the prototype was like, so Nintendo backed out. Sony was like, "All right, well, we've put 75% of the effort into this. We might as well continue." And now they have PlayStation because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like fuck it, go hard.
But and again, it's all about where they find or how they also define themselves. Because Nintendo is not a video game company; they're an entertainment company.
Yeah, they're more of a toy company too.
Yeah.
That's where they originated as, right?
well, yeah, I guess that's a part of the problem is they're all part of giant corporations that have different visions.
Sony makes a lot of sense because it's Sony Entertainment. Like that was a huge their TVs. They make TVs for entertainment. They have like their own studios for movies. They have the PlayStation.
Yeah, I guess they are focused on the entertainment.
They're
side.
entertainment. That makes sense.
It's also interesting because each console kind of had its separate niche. Where it's Nintendo was family and kids, Xbox seemed like multiplayer,
Yeah,
and PS was more the solo play. is the way
Yeah,
I
it's
saw
more
it.
like their exclusive first party narrative games.
Yeah,
That's the reason why PlayStation's
So-
big. Without those, they're not as big. I don't think.
no.
And I get it. Like I think Game Pass. I would recommend anyone just even want to try gaming. And if you have a shitty PC, but you can still play some games.
Okay, so if I get Game Pass on a computer, I can play all. Xbox
You can play any
games
Xbox game you want.
As long as it's on their thing.
on the
Game
Game
Pass.
Pass.
Yeah.
Damn, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a banging deal.
I'd want
it
a
really is,
controller.
and I think that's
You
it's
can plug
awesome.
you can plug controller in, and start
Yeah.
playing them that way.
Or it's got mouse keyboard compatibility as well.
Mouse and keyboard.
I think the older games, I don't think you can do mouse and keyboard though.
probably not.
Like the 360 games or the original
It'd be a
Xbox.
pain in the ass to map every fucking game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oof.
All right, we should wrap this up. I will ask one final thing.
What do you want on your steak?
No. Were you Forza or were you Gran Turismo?
Gran Turismo.
See,
Man
damn
needs
it.
an explanation.
this is what I'm going to say. Gran Turismo was the greatest racing game up to Gran Turismo. Is it 5 was on the PS3? Which one was it? I think it was a 4 on the PS3.
I think it's 4.
Okay, Gran Turismo 4 was like the epitome of racing games. It was amazing. But then Forza, because I think Gran Turismo 5 tanked pretty bad.
Yep.
And then Forza came along. And not even Forza, but Forza Horizon is really awesome.
Yeah.
And it's like way more open world and all that. But hot damn, am I excited for Gran Turismo 6. Me and Rheal are going to be playing that all day when it comes out. This is the fucking future of racing sims, baby. I want this. I want it bad.
I think the biggest problem would be Gran Turismo releases a game every fucking decade.
That's the
Forza
thing,
came
too.
out
every.
a lot more,
It's pretty much
don't
every
they?
year.
Yeah.
Is it
They,
that
no,
often?
they rotate like Forza and then Forza Horizon, Forza Horizon.
Holy shit!
It's almost
Yeah.
like a sports
Gran
game.
Turismo is primarily the like at launch games.
Yeah, but man, like looking
well, they
at Gran.
missed PS5 by a
Dude,
fucking window.
that trailer for Gran Turismo 6 was insane though. The attention to detail, the
Oh, it
amount
looks
of
amazing.
customization. You can't get that in Forza.
It looks fucking
You
brilliant.
can like change this. You can see parts of the engine and like just like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm gonna change the color on it. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, it's crazy.
God.
Alrighty then, we're gonna call it there. I want to thank you guys for joining me this week.
Good rambling.
Yeah, it was fun. Again, we're off for 2 weeks. We're going to be off for 2 weeks. Just
Go
the schedule
listen
is not
to-
going to work for me. I don't know.
Go listen to Matt's sex podcast.
I don't have one of those, but have a good day.
Yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.
Bye. Feels like I don't have one of those.
I'm just gonna clear that up right now.
Yeah, no.